Hello everyone, and welcome to my EastEnders Media News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Next week, Bianca Jackson will make her second appearance on EastEnders when she returns to Walford in the midst of Whitney and Zack's most recent problems. Earlier in the year, Patsy Palmer returned to the character of Bianca for 2 special episodes that delved into Whitney and Zack's time spent with her in Milton Keynes. Next week, Bianca shows up suddenly in the square, shocking Sonia by introducing herself. The surprises don't stop when Bianca runs into Rice, however, she is quickly sidetracked when she finds out that Zack has vanished, so she goes to Whitney for her demanding explanations. When Zack finally returns home, he makes an effort to avoid answering Bianca's questions about his whereabouts, but eventually it becomes too much and he leaves. He goes to the Vic to talk to Whitney, but before he can get to speak with her, Wida, a mother, interrupts them to tell Whitney about her son's Usher syndrome experience. Bianca talks with Zack after having an open discussion with Linda to try and figure out what's going on. Whitney, however, is attending a fruitful meeting with Brittany's teacher regarding her diagnosis of Usher syndrome, but she has other issues to deal with. She is relieved, but only for a moment, as Rice steps in and says Whitney isn't Brittany's mother. In light of this, Whitney is taken aback when social services greet her. In the end, they remove Brittany to ensure her safety until they are able to verify Whitney's account of what happened with Keeley. While Whitney is still in shock, Bianca and Zack collaborate to find Keeley. After meeting them both at Walford East, Bianca begins to criticize Keeley's parenting, and Keeley believes Brittany would be better off somewhere else. From there, things only get worse. Can Bianca decide differently? On EastEnders, Bianca returns the following week. Billy must deal with his estranged father Stevie, while Yolanda raises questions. Here is a comprehensive list of the most significant moments to be aware of. 1. Back in Albert Square is Bianca. Next week, Walford royalty will return when Bianca makes an unexpected visit. Before she can even settle in, though, she is entangled in a lot of drama. Bianca is curious as to why Zack has become so successful, given all of the issues he and Whitney have been facing. However, when she does eventually see the man in question, he quickly leaves after becoming unable to answer all of her inquiries. 2. Lexi is still dubious about Nadine. Although Nadine keeps telling Jay and his family that she was kicked out of her house in an attempt to get closer to them, Lexi is not fond of her presence. After Lexi chooses to tell Billy that she saw Nadine drinking, Billy ends up pissing Jay off by pointing out that having a paternity test would be the right course of action. Later, Nadine tries to gather everyone together over cocktails at the Vic, but a happy moment between Billy and Honey is cut short when a well-known face shows up. 3. Billy has an unexpected guest. Following his disappearance at a Mitchell family funeral a few months prior, Billy's father Stevie left people wondering when they would see him again. Next week, the answer to that question will become clear when he walks into the square and is met by an astonished Billy. Although Stevie faces challenges in winning the family over, especially with Billy and Phil, he makes an effort to speak openly with his son about their history. Regretfully, when the subject of the late Jamie comes up, things rapidly spiral out of control, with Billy kicking his father out. It's obvious that Stevie still has a ways to go in their connection with Billy. 4. Bianca seeks assistance, Bernie. Vinny is getting ready to reopen the cafe, but as he gets things going, Bernie finds it difficult to see it happening again. This makes sense, considering that she had been working above her deceased brother's body for weeks. Upon observing Bernie's extreme difficulties, Bianca makes the decision to speak with her in an attempt to support her in moving on and to see if she can get back to work. Will her comments, nonetheless, have the desired outcome? 5. Yolanda comes to a resolution. Following her attack by Pastor Clayton, Yolanda has continued to skip prayer groups, and her uninformed family is becoming increasingly concerned about her unpredictable behavior. Following a heartfelt conversation with Jean, Yolanda experiences emotional outbursts and decides she wants to plan Jordan's baptism. 6. Rice reveals Whitney's identity. Rice is really good at putting his foot in it, and we'll see him do it again next week. Whitney's slip of the tongue has disastrous results this time, which causes him to run into some major issues. When Rice unintentionally informs Brittany's teacher that Whitney is not actually her mother, social services are called and come to take the child away. 7. Stevie starts to have doubts about Nadine the following week. When Stevie starts to suspect that Nadine might be up to no good, more people start to have doubts about her. Driven by the details he learns from Lexi, Stevie expresses his awareness that something is amiss and joins the chorus of people demanding a paternity test. 8. Zack and Bianca work together. Together, Zack and Bianca set out to locate Keely. Eventually, Bianca loses her cool and tells Keely precisely what she thinks of her and her parenting abilities. Despite initially agreeing to meet with the couple, things quickly go south. Keely concludes that Brittany would be happier somewhere as a result of this. 9. Yolanda's plan is approved by Chelsea. Yolanda is excited about Jordan's baptism and goes all out, but Chelsea is not amused and tells her to back off about making decisions regarding her son. Patrick and Denise are able to convince Yolanda to change her mind since they believe that the diversion will help her. Yolanda is happy that her plans won't need to be altered. Regretfully, Yolanda quickly finds out that Pastor Clayton soon finds out about the baptism and asks Chelsea to speak with him about it. 9. Anna visits Eddie. Anna makes the decision to visit Eddie in prison, but she is hesitant to tell her father because of the tense relationship between him and George. She finds out that Gloria's burial has already occurred while chatting with Eddie, and she now has to figure out how to let George know. 10. Yolanda's actions are much more concerning. When Yolanda finds out that Chelsea is meeting with Pastor Clayton to talk about the baptism, she is appalled and gives Chelsea the order to leave, raising eyebrows in the process. Yolanda is even more alarmed after her second encounter with the preacher, as Denise, Chelsea, and Patrick debate whether or not she ought to visit a doctor. Furthermore, Yolanda's inattentive behavior almost starts a fire at home, leading Patrick to believe that Yolanda may require assistance. There are TikToks in her name and forums talking about how much they welcome her return, but her seemingly accidental humor keeps coming up. Her refusal to put up with fools and her always alert, tense faces are perfect, yet some people find her Caribbean accent more endearing, especially black viewers who can identify. Yolanda Truman's attraction is universal, regardless of one's perspective, and her fan base is growing every minute as if she has never left. Nobody else on TV can deliver a wisecrack, joke, or diss in a clipped patois like her in Soapland, and rarely any place else either. It was revealed most recently when comforting Denise about her failing marriage to Jack. To put it bluntly and without flinching, the marriage was a mash-up. Additionally, her tongue-lashing of Denzel for intercepting his steroid package became an instant Yolanda classic. Many find it humorous because they have known, or occasionally are related to, women who resemble her.